If you're having a bad day, just remember that of all of the billions of sperm in your mother's fallopian tubes that day, you were the one that won. I've got a few points on this one. Number one, that's fucking disgusting. Number two, Number three, is my life so barren of achievement in your eyes that you think my conception is what I should be most proud of? You really think that's when I did my best? I think I'm getting too much credit for this. Half my DNA was sitting in the egg cell to begin with and assured of victory. If I had known conception was my finest point, I wouldn't have bothered inseminating. I'd have said to my mother's womb lining, I don't think it's going to work with us, I'm heading out, see you in 2 weeks. I would have done that. Number four. What actually happens is a bunch of sperm cells attack the egg. It has a hard outer shell, the zona pellucida, thanks. And they gradually break it down. All these cells sacrifice themselves, and then eventually it breaks away, and then one lucky sperm pops in and fertilizes the egg. Bear that in mind and know that you weren't born a winner. You started off as an undeserving, credit-stealing, selfish prick. That's how all of us began. You're not a winner. Thing is when I made that status, I didn't get very many likes. I certainly got no shares, so none of you bastards saw it. Margaret, I think I'm maybe being a bit harsh on you. Probably not. I think I overestimate the generational gap here. See, that's the thing. I talk about Margaret and Margaret's husband there. You guys weren't raised to believe you could do anything. You were raised with, realism and stuff. And I think that makes me overestimate the generational gap, because I personally have parents that are very, very reserved, and I clearly have very grand ambitions. I'm going to demonstrate with one story why I think my parents are the least ambitious people ever. This is how my parents got together. Now, my parents grew up 5 minutes apart. There is no more stereotypical Irish tale. You couldn't write one more. They grew up 5 minutes apart in rural Ireland. That's not like growing up 5 minutes apart in Edinburgh. That meant there were 5 houses between them. And they went to the same school at the same time. My dad was a few years ahead of my mother. They never met in all this time. They didn't meet until 1979, when both travelled down south 4 hours to the city of Galway to see the Pope. That's how my parents met. I think that's when sparks flew. I love that story. I think it's hilarious. I love that if the Pope hadn't visited Ireland in 1979, I wouldn't exist today. I think that's amazing. And I got really excited, and I laughed so much when my mum said that to me, and she started to panic because she thought there was a chance I'd start telling people this on a stage somewhere. So she tried to reason with me, and she said these words. She said, Cormac, what you don't realise is me and your father were both raised, our parents were very strict Irish Catholics. They never let us out. We never got to go out at the weekend. We never got to go away for weekends. We never got away on holidays. When the Pope visited, they loosened the strings on us a little bit. And that made me realise that the Pope's visit to my parents was Glastonbury. They looked forward to it for months. They got to go on a bus. They had the rosary beads in the air. JP II in the house! You don't get that story as how you met the love of your life and at the same time harbour ambitions of winning Academy Awards. That's not no person can do both those things. Additionally, Margaret, my parents got engaged after 11 months. An unbelievably short period of time. How long was it with you two?
9 months.
9 months, shorter still. I'm sure it was, I believe you. But the thing is that's so unlikely now, because the thing is, if you can get engaged after 9 or 11 months, what that shows is you're not looking for the one, you're looking for someone. That'll do.
I wasn't letting go.
Huh?
I wasn't letting go.
You weren't letting go?
No.
No, you were just not very picky. I think your kids won't do this though. Do you know why though? You also, in telling us we were winner, you also told me that I was a person of value, that other people would be lucky to have me. You told me to never change who I was for anyone, didn't you, Margaret? You fucking told us that. And you know what? I fucking believed you. If your parents have ever told you you're special and you're a catch, don't ignore it, because it's not true. Guys, you probably all think you're special and someone would be lucky to have you, but that's not right. What you need to do, if you need to find someone to love, what you need to do is you need to change, and fucking settle. It's the only way. And that's a mess. That's what Margaret did, and the husband did. That's what my parents did, and I feel like that's been lost today. I learned this the hard way. You know, another fucking thing. Okay, we all went to school. And when I went to school, I learned about Darwinian theory. Darwin, the theory of evolution, he basically said one thing. Fucking change and you'll get laid. That's more or less what he said. And then instead of listening to Charles Darwin, whose theory has been proven for millions of years, I listened to Margaret, who told me not to change. And I decided, yes, Margaret makes more sense. And I fucking didn't. No, I learned this lesson the hard way, because now I realized you have to change.